We're back with Premier League football again, and we're going to be discussing Arsenal's defeat. Tottenham's defeat at the hands of Arsenal, 4 goals to one. And with me to do that is Mustafa. I'm still Afolabi. Welcome to another football show.
Okay, a very good game, but half of this game is the brilliance of Eze playing from a central position. Finally, they should have started him in a central position last week rather than putting him rather than bringing in Saka as a central position and then bring in Eze later. So they started off the game properly. Put Saka on the right, put Eze there, and have Gio bullying the guys in the central defenders, which allows because Eze drifts right a little bit. They were getting overloads on the right, and the center backs didn't know what to do. So it was creating half spaces with Saka going very wide, and then them knowing what to do with Eze. Sometimes it created half spaces for Eze, and Eze exploited it. But I just want to say that it's only half of the story. It was a brilliant game by Arsenal, but it was a pathetic game by Tottenham. This game makes Arsenal look better than they are, and Tottenham is making a lot of teams look better than they are. They had a very high line. They had Gray, who's supposed to be a midfielder playing defensively. And even when they had the ball, they left a lot of space, but they kept the defensive line back and left space between the attackers. So there was a wide open midfield, which Eze exploited. So all I'm saying is that Arsenal played well. They made the right choice by putting Eze there as the number 10 until Odegaard gets better, who came in the second half. But they're not going to have this easy again. All year, Tottenham has been in disarray, especially now since they have a new owner, a new manager, but they've been in disarray all year. What are your thoughts, Falabi?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Tottenham were atrocious. I mean, they were really very poor against a very good Arsenal side. And I think people might have been sending messages to Arteta, and I think he was scared too with the fans because I mean, you have someone of the quality of Eze on the bench, and whenever you bring in him, you seem not to play him in his best position. But today he was able to do the sensible thing, play him in number 10 position, and that did two things. It allowed him to run at the defense and helped Gyökeres to find spaces that was difficult for the Tottenham defenders to defend against. So the movement of Gyökeres was complemented by the position of Eze, and that made it very, very difficult for the Tottenham defense. So what it now required was for Saka to stay wide. And then whenever I drifted in, you could see that both Rice and Zubimendi would overlap. So it was a very good balance for Arsenal. Eze played in his favored number 10 position, scored 2 goals, could have scored a hat-trick. And I
Yeah.
think Gyökeres too was very, very decent. And they
Yeah.
defended well. And the first goal that Tottenham scored was even a blunder by Declan Rice. So it wasn't as if
Yeah.
Tottenham did anything of note. They were atrocious. And now they're flirting with relegation with just 4 points below the drop zone.
Yeah. So that was a good game. Tell us, what do you think that Tottenham made what do you think they did that was wrong today insofar as how their defense was just being exploited anyhow? Because I don't see Arsenal exploiting even a team like Newcastle or Aston Villa like that, exploiting them with Eze and Saka like that. I think first of all, I know that that Tottenham used a very, very high line. I think that was their biggest mistake. But I also get the feeling that there was too much of a gap between their defensive line and their midfield. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
And
there was
it didn't seem like they had a CDM on the pitch. It didn't seem like
no,
they
no,
had a
not at
CDM.
all. They had a very big space, a space that wasn't well marshaled and defended between the midfield and the defense, first and foremost. Like you rightly mentioned, they played a very high line, and they were playing against a team that was very quick when they won the ball. And then another important thing is, in fairness to them, they have about 12 first-team players that are on the injury table. So
Yeah.
this was going to be difficult for them. And why I don't like their approach is that at a point when Arsenal was leading, they sat back and they were not really pushing against, they were just conceding possession
Yeah.
to Arsenal and stuff like that. So, and then you come in as a new coach, someone was sacked mid-season, and you play three at the back. I would have imagined that the new guy would play something they are already comfortable with. Three at the
Yeah.
back is a specialist system, and it doesn't go down well with a lot of teams in the Premier League. So I feel for the first game against a team of Arsenal's quality, asking them to play such a system would be like they're learning to do it on the job, so to speak. So they weren't comfortable with that system, and
And
Arsenal was
they
just putting passes around them
and their defensive shape was rubbish. The defenders were out of place all the time, and
all
there
the
were a lot
time.
of passes in the first half. Arsenal could have scored about 4 goals. There were a lot of
Yes,
near misses, shots that were
yes,
going wide. Yeah.
yes.
So
But for their
yeah,
keeper, they would have scored close to 4 goals.
yeah, because they were going. A lot of their players were going too wide. So yeah, so we've seen this before. Arsenal will drop points, then they'll have a big victory for something, whatever. But they continue to not surprise us by dropping points when you don't expect them to do so. And they need to be careful. And they still haven't addressed their issue that none of their players can pass the ball. They were able to beat a Tottenham team today without having to pass a lot,
Yeah.
which said something. Because a lot of the goals that were scored were the Tottenham defenders were static. You'll make a
Yeah.
cross and the cross will bounce off of a defender and
Yeah,
come
sure.
onto as input
Sure.
or somebody.
Sure.
So a lot of the goals that Arsenal scored today were from rebound from the defender being out of position. But when they play other teams like a Man City or teams like Chelsea and stuff, they're still going to be able to have to pass the ball and distribute a lot and work a lot harder. So I'm not saying that they shouldn't win the championship. I'm just saying that just because they had a 4-2 victory today doesn't mean anything. Do you remember the game where Eze had a hat trick or had 4 goals about
Oh,
two
yeah, it
months
was
ago?
this same team when they played
Yeah.
them at first. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so that shows us something because that was Eze's biggest game, and everybody was like, "Oh, Eze is now the greatest number 10 in England," even me. So what I'm saying is that there's something about their matchup with when they match up against Arsenal that Eze does very well, and when they play other teams, even if they win, it's not going to be a blowout like this. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. If they play other
Yeah,
teams, I mean, it won't be as easy as playing
yeah,
against Tottenham because Tottenham made it really very easy for Arsenal. And I'm
yeah,
happy for Eze because the English coach, Thomas Tuchel, was around in the stadium. He saw what he
yeah.
did. He saw the quality of his game. So that is good for him. But where my problem is, I mean, Arteta is a very funny person. He could bench him in the next game against Chelsea. They are playing
I'm
Chelsea.
sure, I'm sure he will.
Yeah, he could bench him and even replace Gyökeres with Gabriel Jesus. So you never will know what's going on in Arteta's mind. I mean, I would imagine that he should give both Eze and Gyökeres a run of games because I would imagine that Thomas Tuchel will be at the Chelsea game again, to spot his players as he tries to build the squad for the World Cup. So give them a run of games, let them be comfortable. This chopping and changing will help. You could see he brought on Odegaard towards the end of the game. I won't be surprised
Yeah,
if Odegaard starts against Chelsea, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, Eze has played well. He scored 2 goals.
I don't know why you
Momentum
you bring in a
suggests
real
that he should
nine. You
start the
play like
next
a
game.
false nine.
Yes. Yes.
Let me tell you something. When Odegaard gets healthy, he's going to start putting Jesus and all those other guys in again. I'm telling you, that's what he's going
Yeah,
to do.
sure,
Let me tell you
sure.
something. Let me tell you why England is going to get destroyed in the World Cup, man. This guy, Declan Rice, is going to get destroyed in the World Cup. You understand what I'm saying? Declan Rice is not like Rodri. What I'm trying to say is he doesn't track the
No,
ball.
no, 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 no,
He runs
no.
more. Declan Rice is more like it's for it. He's an attacking central defensive midfielder. He is
Yeah,
weird. You get what I'm saying?
sure,
That goal that he gave up with the indecisiveness, that's rubbish.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's their hero. I know the British like to raise these guys up, but you can't beat teams like Argentina,
Of course, they
France,
overhype them. I think he's just
all
a
these teams
high
like Argentina.
energy. He's just a high energy midfielder, nothing more.
Yeah, that's all he is. High energy. And when you play a team like Spain, Germany, France, Argentina, we're going to show that guy would not even make it on their under 20 team. I'm
Those
telling
are
you.
teams that have technical midfielders.
He has
England
no
doesn't have
technical
any
ability.
technical players.
This is ridiculous. You know, in other countries, if he's playing for another country, they'll make him a number 8. You get my point, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And I think it's
But anyway,
because of the academies in England. They focus so much on hard work and running. But in South America and in Spain, they focus on skill development and the
and you have
technical
to have a high number of
aspect.
passes, a high
Yes,
number of
and
passes.
passing. So by the time those guys develop in terms of skill and ability, they're somehow better than the ones coming from England. So you look at the Premier League and you know that the guys that make this league interesting are the foreigners, not the English players themselves.
Yeah. So yeah, so we're done. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. We'll do a preview for the Chelsea Arsenal match. This is a big match for Arsenal. I have a feeling the game is going to be a draw, but Arsenal needs to do better if they really want to win this championship. They need to prove they're the champions by
Yeah.
beating Chelsea. Chelsea's
Chelsea
a
will
good
be a
team.
much tougher game because Chelsea threw away 2 goals against Burnley yesterday, so it won't be
Chelsea
as
is one of
easy
those
as
teams that
Tottenham.
Chelsea is. They don't play. I mean, is one of those teams that's dangerous that nobody wants to play them.
Yeah,
I don't care who
exactly,
you are.
exactly.
Barcelona,
What
they
you
used to
call
be
a
the best team.
banana skin?
But the problem is that they're their own worst enemy too.
Worst
So that's the
enemy.
problem.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll follow me. Take us out, man.
It's been another brilliant Premier League show. We have been discussing Arsenal's victory over Tottenham 4-1 as they extend the gap to 5 points again, although Man City have a game in hand. From Mustafa and myself, we'll be back again during the week for another Premier League show.
All right, thank you. Yeah,